So in this video, we're going to talk about financial aid award letters and just give you guys some examples of different ones. So this is someone's actual award letter from the financial aid office that we're going to discuss. So if you see right here, this is your estimated cost of attendance. So this is for a Virginia student that is living not in the campus residence hall but living at home with a parent. So that's what the with parent is right there. So these are your direct costs. So you can see that we have tuition and fees, $10,839. That's the total direct cost for the entire year. Over here on this other side, you're going to see the indirect cost. These are not charges that we are actually charging you. These are just examples of what you may have as far as other costs while having a student going to college. So we are not charging you for room, board, books, or transportation. This is just an example to know that you may have additional expenses while your child is going to college. So the $10,839 tuition and fees, if you are a Virginia resident student living off campus with parents, the only thing you're getting charged for is the direct cost over here. So on the second page, you can see what the financial aid office has actually awarded the students as far as financial aid. And everything is just listed here. It's also broken down by semester, fall semester, spring semester, and the total. So this student has been awarded an academic merit-based scholarship in the amount of $4,491. So that has been broken down by the fall and the spring semester. This student is also eligible for federal financial aid, and that's based on the FAFSA. So these amounts are broken down as well, fall semester, spring semester, and you can see the total there for the year is $6,345. That is a full Pell eligible student. Also, there's been another award here, which is the VGAP, which is a state grant for Virginia students, and that is in the total of $2,000 for the year. So if you look at the total grants, follow it all the way over to the right, you can see this student has been awarded $12,836. So this is what you really want to pay attention to here. This is your actual price. So we talked about on the first page that the total cost for tuition and fees was $10,839. So this student has actually been awarded $12,836. So what that means right here is that this student will be receiving a refund. So that's why I said this is a very important part. You can see they're actually getting money back in the amount of $1,997. So that means that money can be applied to, you getting a computer. That can be applied to the bookstore. So if you want some money to pay for your books in our bookstore, that's what you can use that for. That is completely up to you. The second part here, as far as loans, loans are always listed on there. Does not mean that you have to take them out. This student is getting a refund, so they're getting money back, so they really don't have any additional expenses that they would need to take out the loans for. So it's always on there. Does not mean that you actually have to take those out. A few more things I want to show you. Of course, with Pell Grant, if you have been awarded Pell, you do have to reapply for Pell every single year. So make sure you are paying attention to those deadlines. And then also this page at the very top, it talks about your different scholarship awards. So notice if you've been awarded an academic scholarship, the UVA-wise Merit Scholarship. Those are renewable for all 4 years. Most of the time you do have to retain at least a 3.0 GPA in order to get those. Also for state grants, athletic scholarships, all of those requirements are on there for additional. The other thing to pay attention to as far as being awarded through financial aid is your satisfactory academic progress. They do keep up with how many hours you attempt, how many actual classes you are passing, so make sure that you are staying on top of your grades while you're here as a student. On this award letter, you can see this is the very last page of the financial aid award letter. So if a student has been flagged for verification, this is random. We do not choose the students. A lot of times if you are a Pell eligible student or you are receiving financial aid, sometimes you will get flagged for verification, and this is just a way to double check that your information on the FAFSA is accurate. So this very last section here, this is what it means if you have been flagged for verification. So you need to turn in the required documents there to the financial aid office. You have to do that in order to process the money that has been on your financial aid award letter. So you want to make sure that you get those turned in as soon as possible. The tax transcript you can download from the IRS website. The other dependent verification form, you can find that on our financial aid website. And then, of course, parent W-2s would come from the employer. So again, if you have any questions about that required documentation, please feel free to reach out to the financial aid office. This financial aid award is for a Virginia resident student that is living on campus. So here for the direct cost, again, we have our tuition and fees for the year, which is $10,839. Where this student is actually living on campus, you can see the cost for room and then board, which is the cost for the meals. So there is the total for the entire year, the $22,116. We have different awarding budgets based on what type of student you are. So there is a tuition and fees for a Virginia student. We also have the Appalachian Regional Commission area, which has a different tuition and fees budget, which is a little bit more. So all of that information along with out-of-state students. So your information on that front page can vary a little bit as far as the tuition and fees based on where you are physically located. Everything else as far as the room, the board charges, those will all remain the same. So tuition and fees can vary, be different based on which state you physically reside in. Again, the indirect cost you're not actually billed for. Those are just examples of additional fees that you may have as a student. So you can see what we estimate as far as the cost of books, transportation, personal expenses. That's just to show that you may have additional cost here, but that is nothing that you are billed for or charged for through financial aid. So as far as the award that this student has, you can see they also have an academic merit-based scholarship as well, $4,449. Again, everything is broken down by fall semester, spring semester, and then the total. This student has also been awarded federal financial aid Pell Grant through the FAFSA, and also Virginia students have been awarded the VGAP state grant that is also through the financial aid process. So the total there is what the student has been awarded in free money based on everything on the previous page, the tuition and fees, the room, and the meals. With their total, you can see this student actually still owes money, so that is $3,280. So anytime a student has any kind of a remaining balance, we will offer the student the possibility of taking out a loan. We know that some families have money saved up, put back that they can afford that. Some families can actually do a payment plan through the cashier's office. Some families do not have any money set aside to pay. So that is why we always offer you the option of loan. This is where you need to be responsible as a student and a parent. Make sure that you have a conversation with the financial aid office, that you are borrowing enough money to cover that. If you need to borrow enough money to cover books, but don't borrow so much that you're paying other bills, that you're paying for a spring break vacation. So that's where you need to be a responsible borrower. There are additional forms that you need to fill out if you do want to take a loan and request a loan. So over here in this section, you'll see that there is information about loans. So you need to do some additional things online. You need to do a master promissory note. So go to these websites and that will give you examples on how to do the additional loan paperwork. But you do actually have to go in and request the loan amount, so you can talk to financial aid about that.